thought to myself, this is like the best day of my life, something that I'll never forget.
It was a big jump to the NBA, to the best league, and I didn't know if I could make it or not.
It was unbelievable, the passion in the moment, and couldn't help but get caught up in it.
Just that underdog. I'm just under the surface, just doing my thing.
There's a pretty good jump shooter. Dirk Nowitzki, perhaps you've heard of him.
Dirk. He can give you a variety of different things that he can do. When you can put it on the floor and catch and shoot, and also has the ball. I mean, that makes him so dangerous on the floor because guys got to respect that.
Nowitzki, a shooter never stops shooting.
There's one guy who has so much range.
To be a 7-footer, he plays like he's a guard.
Nowitzki on the show and go dribble drive.
Every time he shoots, like he's making it.
Right side Nowitzki, his jumper, good for three. Dirk Nowitzki has just sealed the deal for the Mavericks. Oh boy, what a shot!
Dirk Nowitzki's journey to the NBA began on the courts of his hometown in Würzburg, Germany, but not the kind of courts you might expect.
All the women in my life played basketball, and I kind of thought it was a sport for women. You know, it was like my mom played it, my sister played it, so I was like, I can't play a women's sport.
Marek zegt, Wolf, guten Tag.
Dirk's father had starred in a different sport and was grooming his only son to follow in his footsteps.
I was his coach in handball, and he was a very good handball player, I say. And in the same time, he grew up as a very good tennis player, and we thought, parents thought, that he will become a next Boris Becker.
And he could kind of see a future for me in both of them, so when I said, screw it, I want to do something else, he was kind of like, I guess he was kind of a little frustrated that I would throw everything out of the window what I've done so far.
Dirk's path became clear when his cousin introduced him to basketball, and he fell in love with the sport.
We had a hoop at home, and it was set actually right there. We had a hoop in the middle, and then we also had a handball goal right behind it. Already by 16, 17 people told us that he had like this bright future, and no one really talked about NBA back then, but still like he was going to be a great player in the European League somewhere, and that was going to be, a great career.
But a chance encounter would open a new world of possibilities. He met Holger Geschwindner, who was the captain of Germany's Olympic team in 1972. He became not only Dirk's basketball coach, but his mentor in life.
It was kind of weird. I met him at a youth game, and I guess I was just playing. I was like 15, 16, and he came up to me and talked to me afterwards, and I had no idea who he was.
There was a tall, skinny dude running around, and I could not believe that the guy was doing so many things. A good basketball player has to know, and has to react, how he reacts. But he has no tools. He could not dribble the ball. He could not shoot it, But he did so many things right. And when he came by, I said, "Hey, who is teaching you all the tools? To do? Nobody. So okay, if you want, I do it."
He came to my family. We had a meeting, and he said, our goal is to be the best player even in the NBA. And I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to play in this league. I never really believed in my skills well enough. I was just playing for fun.
I said, okay, you guys have to make a decision. If Dirk wants to be the best basketball player in Germany, we can stop practicing right away. Nobody can hinder that. But if he wants to deal with the best guys in the world, we have to practice every day. And next day, Dirk called, so let's try it.
But first they would need a place to practice, so Holger arranged for an abandoned building that once housed a brewery to be converted into a gym.
He was a great player once, and he just knew how to teach.
How to handle the ball, how to put the fingers, he was so skinny and he had no power at all.
But it was always fun, so I stuck with it, and you could really see progress early. I was starting to shoot better and move better, and the progress just kept coming.
And the relationship started to become closer and closer. When he came out with, it came up with that he was not very good at school, so we start doing homeworks. So I I guess we try to fix everything together. My basic idea was that we can make it within 5 years to the NBA. We had that game in San Antonio, that was like a little bomb, so everybody was chasing him.
That little bump was actually the biggest turning point in Dirk's road to the NBA. At the 1998 Nike Hoops Summit in San Antonio, he put on a brilliant performance against American high school stars and dazzled a crowd that included Dallas Mavericks head coach Don Nelson.
Shows a lot of body control and a lot of good moves for a guy who's 6'11".
We're going to see you back here in the NBA, maybe another Detlef Schrempf someday?
Oh, I hope so, I don't know yet.
A few months later, Dirk's hopes became a reality.
With the 9th pick in the 1998 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Dirk Nowitzki from Würzburg, Germany.
He wasn't a Buck for long, as Nelson and the Mavericks swung a draft night trade for the phenom they coveted. But while Dallas expected big things from Dirk, he didn't exactly share their confidence.
I didn't think I was ready. I was like, it was a big jump from Europe right away to the NBA, to the best league, and I didn't know if I could make it or not.
And those doubts would quickly be realized. During his rookie season, Nowitzki had problems adjusting to a new country and a new level of basketball.
Actually coming over and playing against the best athletes in the world, it was a lot harder than I expected. I mean, going through it was one of the toughest times of my life.
At forward, 6'11" from Germany, number 41, Dirk Nowitzki.
In 1998, Dirk Nowitzki arrived in Dallas, having achieved his dream of reaching the NBA. But it became a rude awakening as the rookie endured his share of growing pains.
Nowitzki backing down with 5, stripped by Chaplin. Nowitzki, not good-looking shot there at all.
But see, Nowitzki just was not aggressive enough. When that ball was there, he just didn't go get it.
It was really hard for me, coming over. I was the man in Germany. I played 40 minutes a game, taking every shot whenever I wanted to. And now all of a sudden come in a situation where I felt like, every player on my own team was better than myself.
People made these, proclamations that he'd be and things like that. And I think that really set him up to fail, especially with all the different things he had to deal with coming from so far away.
For me, it was a culture shock. I was new, I didn't know anyone, and my family was like a 12-hour flight away. All the traveling, all the games, we only used to play 1 or 2 games a week. And here, we had like 5 or 6 games a week. I mean, it was crazy.
It's such a huge step, I still can't believe it, It's a totally different style of basketball over here. The pace is much higher. Under the basket, it's almost like wrestling. It's really, everybody grabs you and pushes you, so it's a big thing, and I'm still not used to it.
I got burned like once or twice or maybe 3 times a game when I was young. That's something I had to learn and learn how to compete against.
Driving on Nowitzki. Good move, Don.
If you come out of Europe, you're a 7-footer, you're a white guy, and you shoot, you're obviously going to be a soft guy. I mean, you hear it right away. I'll be coming in the game, and my guy would catch the ball, and you hear from the bench, "Go at him, go at him. He's soft."
He beat Nowitzki again right there.
Obviously, when things are not going right, you start to doubt yourself a little bit. I mean, was it the right decision? Should I stayed in Europe for a couple more years and develop and come back more ready? You start thinking about it, but then you don't want to give in. You want to keep on working, and you want to make this work somehow and not give up.
Dirk knew he would need help if he hoped to make it in the NBA, and he knew just where to turn.
It was roller coasting, up and downs, and I was 8 times in the States, because he was sometimes close to giving up. I said, no way, we can get it done.
He came over right away. We talked about just hang in there and blah, blah, blah. So he tried to help me as much as he can. So he was kind of like everything to me. He was my agent, my coach, my friend, like my second father. He just took care of me. His philosophy was kind of like, hey, you know, you're 7 feet. We can make you a great defender, and nobody will know you. You know, there are a lot of 7-footers who can defend the post, and you know, you're gonna make it if you're a great offensive player. If you change your thinking of a 7-footer and just be something else, and that was always his thinking.
We run our routine, you know, we work on the hand wrist actions, you know, the strengths, little, you know, the tools, the hook shot, you know.
His drills are a little old school. We do a lot of stuff that how they trained back in whatever in the 60s, and just other people when they see it once in a while say, "What are you doing there?" I mean, it looks a little awkward when I jump, you know, through the gym. But I think it's good stuff. It's a little different than how other people train. You know, he had the weird advices, but I believed in him, and we kind of had that chemistry from the first moment on. You know, he knows me like no one else. You know, he just, hey, you're doing this wrong, and I change it, and right away it's 100% better again. I don't think there's one single person on this world that can teach me what he taught me. So, you know, I got to go with it.
Holger's advice proved to be just what his struggling student needed.
Nowitzki.
Dirk improved by leaps and bounds in his second season, and his confidence began to grow.
I'm starting to have some more respect for number 41.
By the following season, he was the Mavericks' top scorer and rebounder, and led Dallas to its first playoff appearance in 11 years.
Dirk Nowitzki left open. You don't want to do that, folks.
Though the Mavs would lose in the conference semifinals, Dirk became the first player in team history to be named All-NBA. But even as he was blossoming into a star, he would never forget his rough rookie season.
How about Dirk Nowitzki?
I struggled throughout the whole first year, but you know, looking back at it now, it was a very important year for me just to get used to everything. It was a tough year, but I think from that first year, I really learned a lot.
By 2002, Dirk's difficult transition to the NBA was a distant memory. He had emerged as an all-star, one of the league's most lethal shooters, and the man the Mavericks looked to for scoring.
I want to run some offense, okay? Either open court, layups, good rhythm shots, or thumbs down.
Here's Dirk again. Nowitzki is on fire.
Dirk Nowitzki is the man, the blonde bomber, the German phenom.
And as Dirk found success in the United States, he was also embraced as a celebrity for the first time in his native Germany.
It's been really amazing. I mean, even my first 2 years when I came home, nobody really recognized me. I could walk in Berlin, in big cities, my hometown even. I could walk around the city and nobody really cared. They would say, oh, he's tall or whatever, but they didn't know who I was. At some point, I just, I couldn't go anywhere anymore. People recognized me everywhere and started swamping me wherever I'd go. I mean, it was a different experience, like I was a rock star all of a sudden.
But he wasn't just a solo act. Dirk came to Dallas the same year as another international player, Canada's Steve Nash, and having each other to lean on helped ease their adjustment.
We both came to a new city, we both lived in the same apartment complex, and we hung out. You know, we didn't really know anyone else.
You started off right.
Shot money.
You know, we went out, went to eat, or went to a movie, or just do some different stuff. Not only sit at home and think about Germany.
That shot, that was terrible.
Yeah, that was in the way.
Steve and Dirk, they spent a lot of time in the gym together. Steve spent a lot of time in Dirk's ear. Those experiences meant a lot as far as character building, as far as those two guys, you know, growing together and really picking each other up by the bootstraps and getting out of a tough situation.
The bond forged by Nowitzki and Nash carried on to the court, where they became one of the league's most dangerous duos.
That was just a fun thing. To have your friend there with you, and he's developing as quick as you are.
Nash blows by Anderson.
Oh, what a wraparound to Dirk!
Dallas Mavericks, one fan at a time.
Nowitzki steps inside the arc, shedding Wallace. Gets it back from Nash. Oh, the Mavericks putting on a clinic.
After years of losing, Dallas became a high-scoring contender. And adding Michael Finley gave them a trio of stars.
Finley breaks into the open. He's got Finley against Elliott. The fadeaway by Finley. Dallas wins! Big heart, baby. Big heart and a lot of guts.
I remember when, 10, 15, 20 wins was an all right season for the Mavericks. But now that's so far in the past.
We're taking this whole winning 20 games, so all of a sudden winning 50 games. To turn a thing around like that was fun to be a part of for sure.
With a winning team and 2 perennial All-Stars, things couldn't have looked brighter for the Mavericks. And Nash and Nowitzki were conjuring up lofty visions of the future.
We said how we're going to finish our careers together and hopefully get 1 or 2, how many championships ever get here to Dallas. I mean, that would have been our goal.
Each year they would reach the playoffs, only to be disappointed, as Dallas fell short of making it to the finals.
Well, obviously, that's the goal, and it's frustrating. We had a shot.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we felt like we were always right there, but for some reason in the playoffs, just that little extra something was missing.
People don't want to hear, just wait for another year. Patience is not part of the package.
It's over as the Sacramento Kings beating Dallas 4 games to 1 in Game 5.
Their first-round defeat in 2004 brought the franchise to a crossroads. After the season, the Big Three were broken up.
And that was the most frustrating thing, that group didn't get a chance to try to grow together and maybe add a piece or 2 here from a team that's already really close.
When Steve Nash left Dallas for Phoenix, Dirk was left stunned.
For some reason, everything changed so quick. Yeah, it was a little sad, but.
As the 2005 season began, Dirk was without the friend and teammate who had been there for support. The question was, how would he handle the pressure of being the team's sole leader as they continued their quest for the NBA Finals? In 2004, Steve Nash took charge of his new team in Phoenix.
Oh my goodness, Nash!
While Dirk was asked to be a more vocal leader in Dallas, a role that didn't quite fit his personality.
I'm not going to go in the locker room and hold a speech for 5-10 minutes. That's not me. I'm going to give you an advice, and it's going to be short and quick. I'll tell you where to go on the court, and let's get this done. That's more the way I am.
While Dirk struggled at times with his expanded responsibilities, Nash was flourishing, being named league MVP. And when Dallas and Phoenix met in the playoffs, it was clear that the Mavs missed their old teammate.
5.7, they inbounded, don't take a timeout. Dallas on the floor, this to send it to 7, Stackhouse, off the rim, we go to overtime. Nowitzki has been animated and agitated at mental mistakes made by his teammates tonight.
Frustrated by another early playoff exit, Dirk poured all of his efforts into setting a positive tone for the next season as he worked to improve his game and his team.
He comes early, stays late, and then he comes early to the arena and shoots some more before our last game. His shirt was totally wet prior to our pregame meeting at 45 minutes before the game because he had been out taking shots for probably 45 minutes and working at it, not just putting up shots, but intensely working to make the shots.
The work paid off as the 2006 season began, with Dirk raising his play to a new level.
Quick pull of the trigger from downtown. Dirk Nowitzki, the cold-blooded 7-footer.
why he's an all-star. That's why he's our leader. He just go out there, and we depend on that jumper each and every day. And you know, it's a big part of our offense. So as long as it's staying the way it is, you know, we're going to be successful.
3 seconds left for Stackhouse.
There you go.
Nowitzki for three. There you go.
Got it at the buzzer!
Dirk's a great guy. He's actually more of a comedian than most guys would think he is. He's a great locker room guy, great leader. I mean, he's a great player to follow behind. You see how he works hard, and it makes you want to work hard to get to the same level he's at.
With the best season of his 8-year career, Nowitzki had become not just an all-star, but a legitimate candidate for MVP.
Dirk is one of a kind. He's a hard-nosed, live, breathe, die basketball guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of guy you want on your team that's going to fight every night with you.
Dirk spins in the lane. Right at the best.
In the second round of the playoffs, Dirk found himself facing a familiar foe and a former teammate. The Spurs and Mavs battled through 7 thrilling games, but in the end, it was Nowitzki's aggressive play that made the difference.
Nowitzki goes right at Bowen, and the foul!
After eliminating the defending champions, Dirk and the Mavericks moved on to the Western Conference Finals and a rematch with an old friend. Just like the year before, Steve Nash was giving Dallas all it could handle.
Here's Nash off the dribble, what a move!
But Dirk was determined to make sure that this year would be different. And with the series tied at 2, he delivered a classic performance when his team needed it most.
I kind of saw our whole season we had, our whole playoff run we had, kind of swimming away. So I just thought, you know, whatever it's going to happen, you're just going to push yourself and do whatever really it takes. And I got hot at the right moment. And obviously then in the fourth quarter, I made some tough shots. And looking back, that game 5 was a huge win for us. And I'm just glad that I had a good game. I had a great time.
Terry dives in, goes under the basket, keeps the dribble up. Nowitzki a 3 for 50. He got it! Dirk Nowitzki, a 50-point playoff game.
Dallas prevailed in 6 games, and after years of frustration, they headed to the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history.
When we won that 6th game in Phoenix, it's kind of hard to describe what you felt like.
Just think about the journey that the Mavericks had to take to get to the finals. They had to beat Finley Spurs. They had to beat Nash's Suns. The Mavericks are the team that's left standing, you know, with Dirk leading the way, because those 2 guys aren't there anymore. He's getting the spotlight, he's getting attention, but you know what? He's handling it well, and he's doing better than anybody probably ever could imagine.
After leading his team to the championship round, Dirk was intent on enjoying the moment, and everyone was enjoying it with him.
Once you get to this point, you got to play well as a team. You got to be.
How's this your first finals? How are you feeling?
So I
think. For Dirk, it has been a long and sometimes arduous journey from his unlikely beginnings in Germany to superstardom in the NBA. And while he still looks to take the final step to an NBA title, he can look back with satisfaction on just how far he's come.
The young boy, he was so keen on being an NBA player, and so we started making that plan, and well, here we are, and not too bad.
To me, it felt like all the hard work you put in, you know, all the millions of jumpers you take in the summer and all the workouts, it finally gets together and shows that you've done something right.